位观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看我们的节目，我是主持人马健。我们今天很开心，请到我们的老朋友，也是我们华人这个第二代的这个非常优秀的候选人 Daniel Lee 李中远先生来上我们节目。Daniel, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Nice to have. Thank you for having me here.
我们 Daniel 呢，祖籍是广东人 ，right？ 你父母是 from Canton。Yep. So 你能讲广东话？
可以讲广东话。
哇，ABC 不简单那种的，那你中文也不错，
还可以吧？
你看，真的是很优秀。像我们的小孩都不能讲中文的，他能讲中文。美国是美国长的。Daniel 相信对我们华人的观众不会很陌生。Daniel 是休斯顿著名的律师，他也在他的学区担任过这个学生协会的这个主席。那过去这5年，他很努力的替我们华人争取我们的权益。You know, the past few years, you have been working tirelessly to spread and educate voters of what issues that matters to Asian Americans. 尤其是我们华人的这个权益，你的这个职位很重要。You're running for 德州第26区的众议员。You're running for state representative for District 26, which consists of Fort Bend, Richmond, Pecan Grove, Rosenberg.
Correct.
就是我们华人都还有 Katy， 就是我们是很难得在这个选区，我们华人的选票是有很重要性的。意思说，如果他今天在这个偏远的选区，或是在城中的选区，我们华人的选民本来就不够。这个选区是真的是能选出我们自己人，而且是很优秀的自己人。So Daniel, we're immigrants. What do our parents tell us?
Well,
come to America, work hard, be a lawyer, you did, be a doctor, be an investment banker, and then make money, have a family, right? And live the American dream, right? And 我们的父母会叫我们不要你去选举干嘛 right? Because where our parents came from, most people don't have the privilege or the right to vote. And the places where they do is really, people are serving the elected officials. 但是这是美国，美国 elected officials serves us.Every vote matters, especially in your race, in your district. 所以我是很 I'm very concerned because we have to get 我们华人出来投票. We have to get a high turnout. Could you tell us why are you running? What purpose does it have? You're a successful attorney, 很成功的律师，又有家人。You have a wide variety of interests. 他有很多很好的兴趣，是一个非常好的爸爸，非常好的先生。为什么要出来选举 ？Why?
Well.The first thing I saw was that we're lacking in representation.
没有代表我们华人的。
对 and you know, there's not that many people when we were growing up in Texas, you look up and everybody that's in any position of power, they were actually all Caucasian at the time. Now we have a lot of variety, especially in Houston. We have Hispanic. In Fort Bend, we have Indians. We have Muslims. We have African Americans. It's definitely a different world than when me and you grew up, you know, and I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and everybody there was Caucasian. And there's nothing wrong with that, but in a world that we live in the United States where it's a melting pot, right? And we have different percentages of populations other than just white folks. It's, I don't want to say unfair, but it's not balanced as far as representation. Now I'm running as a state representative. Representation is part of the job, right? And so we need to have more representation based on the population that we have.
Precisely, because I don't agree with the melting pot comment. I think that was brought up. It's the same thing with the model minority when it comes to Chinese immigrants, right? I think the 70s, 80s, a certain group of people, race, came up with that model minority, came up with this melting pot. Because we're proud of our culture, whether it's Latino culture, African American, Chinese, Japanese, we should keep our culture. This is our culture. This is thousands of years. Do you hear a certain party or a certain group of people tell our Jewish friends to melt their culture away? No. Would they tell French immigrants or the Brits? No, they won't. No. But when it comes to developing countries, right, Latin America or Asia, melt your culture away, become American. No. Being American means that we still have our culture. We're proud of our culture. We can speak our language, right? This is part of who we are. We should, and also, like you said, your district has changed. The voters, the residents are our people as in immigrants. Your district is probably the most diverse in the state of Texas, right?
That's correct. It is one of the most diverse.
多种族多元化的这个选区，但是为什么一直都没有我们华人的，甚至没有任何的亚洲人 ？There's not a single, not just Chinese, Asian representative in any form of government in 20 years. There were some city council members. 那你刚刚有提到 ，you mentioned 在我们选区，为什么我说我们的选区 ？I grew up in Fort Bend. My whole life, 40 years. Elementary, middle school, high school, right? Growing up, you're right. But yet you see 别的种族 like Muslim Americans, Indian Americans, Pakistanis, they have united and have candidates for the last 20 years at every level of government. We don't have a single one when we are actually the majority. 我们华人的选票是 majority. If you just don't divide which kind of Asian, right? If you just talk about all East Asians, we have the most. Because if you want to divide Muslim and Hindi Americans, they actually don't vote together either, right? They're not. No. So if you divide them out, we have the most power to vote. 所以拜托观众朋友们，尤其是我们老朋友、老观众，这一次的选举，拜托出去投一票。This is open record. People know if you've not like your name where they vote, but they could tell your race, right? How many votes Asians have in this county? This is open record. 每一年都不够。
Yeah, it's the data is available in the county.
Yeah, but
so
yet
you can see it.
Every time you run, we could tell. 我们不能只是有出事的时候才去投票。We always only go and protest when, say, 147 comes out.
That's correct.
Want to take away your real estate. 要影响到你的财富 when it affect your checkbook, then you go and complain. It's too late.
Yep.
If Daniel is in the State House, this bill would not even be passed. The bill would not even be brought up. 我们说这个147排华法案 let's be frank. This is straight, direct racist. Imagine they bring up this kind of proposition for Jewish Americans, or for Mexican Americans, or for African Americans.
Well, they have their representation stand up.
Exactly.
And the problem is we don't have enough representation to fight against it.
Exactly. And because, like I said, the fallacy is come to America, live a good life, live the American dream, don't get involved. But in America, you get involved because you're protecting your future, your family. You're getting funding from the state for our elderly parents, for kids' education. We all have kids. We're going to die here. This is our country. We're Texans.
We're not going back.
No, but we are. There's a certain party want us to go back. This misinformation is that, taxes will go up. Oil and gas would, be destroyed. Actually, these concerns for our voters here in Fort Bend, for our core, for our Chinese voters, our Chinese audience, what they care about the most is not going to be the immigrants taking their jobs. Maybe taxes does matter, but really think about what matters to you. It's your education, and whether I have to worry about my kids getting shot when they're at school. Every time I get a text, my heart sinks. I cannot go to the mall or go to a football game without thinking, where's the exit? How is this the American dream?
I mean, it's really bad when Texas is a place where cartel members cross the border to get guns from us because it's so easy to get a gun. I mean, the Chinese Americans and the Chinese people that live here are absolutely in fear of something, right? What they're in fear about is they're not sure if the education that they buy property out in Katy, Sugar Land, really nice suburban areas, and now we have a governor and his team. Unfortunately they're all from one party, the Republican Party, and they have announced that they are going to pass something called the school voucher for private schools, right? And what that does, it comes from the same fund that would go to your public school. And the public schools right now are essentially at a shortage. All these ISDs that you hear, Cypress, Katy, Fort Bend, there's a shortage. And so, and not just a little short, millions of dollars that they're going to be short. You have schools in Plano, Texas that have a lot of Asian Americans. In Richardson, Texas, each of those ISDs are closing 2 schools this year. And it's only a matter of time. Guess what is this? There's the similarity of those two ISDs with ours here in Katy and Fort Bend. They are Asian, not dominated, but there was a lot of Asians there, a lot of Chinese people there in Plano and Richardson. So they're coming after us, and this is our opportunity to put someone in place that will fight back for you and say, no, this is it. We're going to take a stand here, and we're not going to let this happen.
To fight back and to protect the rights given to every fellow Texan. We pay taxes. 我们是奉公守法的平民. We're just normal citizens. We just want to live in a safe place where our kids don't get shot, where the schools are good, where we have an opportunity to make a living. The fallacy of a lot of immigrants is this: get a good job, be a doctor, lawyer, make a lot of money. But making a lot of money will not protect you from the discrimination and racial profiling that has been brought up in the last 8 years.
Correct.
Are people being murdered, elderly in San Fran and New York, because of the China virus? Don't forget, this is only 4 years ago. This is the first election since COVID. After 9/11, our Muslim brothers, Indian brothers, Hindu brothers, Bangladeshi brothers, all went through this, right? Even though they're Saudi Arabians that did it, but everyone was affected. I remember we're in school then.
Yeah.
And now it's our turn. If we don't support other races or other form coalitions, or if we don't vote for our people, then who's going to step up and speak for us when they come for you? I tell our audience every time, this happened in the United States not that long ago. 1947, Japanese internment camp, right? Suddenly declare war. These are American-born citizens. These are Americans. They took them and put them in a camp. A lot died. Their business, their residence, their homes are taken by Caucasians. Even now, they finally had, some counties had formal apologies, but even now there's no compensation. If you wait till then, this will happen to you if you don't vote. I'm not trying to scare you because I want to live here. I live here. I'm not going anywhere. But history repeats. Why did our Jewish friends why did such a small amount of Nazis were able to round up people during World War II? Because in Poland, when they caught the Poles, the Jewish people said, oh, it's the Poles, it's not me. Czechoslovakia, oh, it's the Czechs, not us. By the time they came for you, there's nobody left to speak for you. China, same thing. When the Japanese invaded and almost exterminated the race, nobody, this is America. You have to, this is a privilege to vote. Voting is your power to get the resources that you already paid for. Daniel talked about school voucher. School voucher in Chinese is 等于是个教育的代金券. From what I understand, it's about $8,000 per child. Okay? This $8,000 is from your pocket that you already paid for. So what they want to do is this. I went to Fort Bend schools. I went to public schools. I have friends that went to private.
Yeah.
I get it. Us immigrants move to these suburbs, not expensive, suburbs that have a higher tax rate.
Correct.
So we go to better schools.
And the houses are expensive.
Like Fort Bend, Katy, your district. They want to take that away. Why? School vouchers benefits a certain group. If I was smart, then me and you should just run and go open some private school right now, a private ultra right-wing Christian school who will use the Bible. By the way, I'm a devout Christian, but it doesn't mean that I want the 10 Commandments in the classroom. I know it's good. If you want to go to a Christian school, good for you. But you should have a choice. They're taking that money that you paid for to put it in private schools. HISD is destroyed.
Destroyed, yeah.
The state, 空降冒进来. This superintendent already destroyed the district in Dallas. The fallacy and this brainwashing they use is these inner city schools, they're all Democrat controlled, are failing because of the state exams are low, right? That's what they use as a criteria. 所以他们就只这样派一个人支持共和党的下来. In Dallas, they destroyed the district.
That's correct.
After 4 years, the results are, the scores are not more. All the teachers left. These poor kids have nowhere to go. But they don't, they want that. They want that education. We know education leads to is the basis.
Correct.
Right? To a stable career life. They want to increase that divide of wealth. They want the inner city to be schools, the less advantaged, privileged students to keep them lower. Just like they all, come on, our foreign policy is the same. You want South America and Latin America to be a mess, right? Because they come up and unite, then they won't do it will not fit our foreign policy, right? We always create wars. This is a war that is waged on your children right now. This is our kids. 我们现在不投票，我们投票是为了我们的下一代。Because me and Daniel, we don't have to do this. You don't have to do this.
No, it's volunteer.
No,
it's
you don't have to do
absolutely
this.
volunteer.
你好好的做你的律师，你有家庭，你的收入很高。Same thing, the fallacy, high income, then we should automatically vote for some party because it'll save us money. It'll be lower taxes. Economy will be better.
True.
No, I just keep saying, I'm in finance. If you look at the record, the Fed Reserve sets federal policy or monetary policy. The stock market has been an all-time high during Democrat administration. Even though Democrats should not take credit because the president, the White House cannot really determine how the market goes. It's an economic cycle. Okay?
And inflation was actually caused by Donald Trump's inability to handle COVID correctly by releasing too much money, printing money, and giving it to companies, not small businesses, companies, and then basically forgiving the debt. I mean, I know because I was an economist before I became a lawyer.
This is economics 101, but of course, a certain party takes all the credit and blames inflation. It was his COVID policy that caused, you know what, I'm not going to dig into this. We'll have a look because it'll never end. Voters, please, just don't forget what happened this last 4 years. We get distracted by these talking points. Oh, by the way, did you hear he said that he's the father of IVF? Did you hear that?
Oh, yes, I did hear that.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's amazing. It's okay. So, vote for your children. Vote for your wives, your moms, your daughters, because I always tell my friends. I ask our candidates, if your daughter brought home someone like Donald Trump, will you still vote for this guy when this is happening to you? Or if your loved one was one of his victims, for someone that insults your race, your identity, your gender, your age, how? He does not represent conservative.
But not only are you going to if you vote for him, are you going to let him in your house and let him tell you what to do? Let him tell you how you can spend your money? Let him tell you where and when you can buy your property?
Not only that, he has no idea how tariffs work. Right? If you go back and look, stop getting misinformation. 我们的选民，我们的朋友在这里。WeChat, there's so much craziness. There's no fact check. There's always this false information.
I think the Chinese tariffs, the tariffs that he put against China, did the Chinese community no good.
It's going to hurt all of us because everything will be more expensive. And also, this McCarthyism, right? Blaming China. Look, I get it. China, as a foreign entity, has its issues competing for resource. But please understand that when you point out a specific country, here in America, all Asians, everyone that looks like you, are going to be affected because they cannot tell the difference whether you think they know whether you're Chinese or Taiwanese or Korean or Japanese? No, it's the same. So please, go out there and vote. I'm not even asking you to go out there and vote for certain positions that maybe you feel strongly about, but for your local election, which actually matters a lot more than who's in the White House. Because what Daniel affects is the budget for your children's education, for your crime, for controlling what the state resource go to you for, say...
the power grid. How about the power grid? Every time the earth sneezes a little bit of wind, well, we're out of electricity for a week or two. And businesses can't operate. So if you want to talk about businesses being able to run properly, if you don't have internet, you're losing tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars that week, depending on how big your business is.
As a business owner, as someone that have family and friends that own business, it's great to bring it up. We studied this. 为什么我们德州会常常有一暴风就停电? Because our grid is essentially government control, but the providers are privatized. 别的州是公立的. Most states, it's government ran because this is a public utility. This is a necessity in life. Power has to be on. It has to be on quickly. But here, Centerpoint gets away with it because Texas Power, what is it, Authority? ERCOT is appointed by the state, by the governor. This is public record. They donate 100K, 200K, 300K to the campaign. They get appointed. So what happened? They fired the ERCOT 2 years ago. They fired him, but he already made his money, right? There's no accountability. There's no one there to protect your interests because it's all pay for play. We need someone like Daniel to come in to clean it up because he doesn't owe any special interest groups or any voucher or any
charter school.
He doesn't take donations from them. 他的捐款是小额，一点点捐起来的。It's from our neighbors, from our friends. He's been in the community for so long. He attends every event. I see him at community events. I see him and his family. He is one of us. If we don't vote for him, then when are we going to wait? Who are we going to vote for? Who else will want to run?
And that essentially is the issue, right? Our community should support its own because if we win, then more people will want to run. If we don't support our own and we decide to be divided by party lines instead of looking at us as a community as a whole, then you're going to have a lack of people that want to become a leader. What I'm trying to do is set an example for the younger people, the younger generation, or for other people that want to run and want to become leaders. The more people that we can, like Jean Wu, the more people that we can get into the office, the more people we will have in control to protect our interests. Because honestly, one person isn't enough. Jean Wu by himself, Hubert Vo by themselves are not enough to make sure that our community is protected. The more we can add, the better off we will be in the future because we want to leave this earth better than we had it before, right? And that's essentially why this race is important because many Chinese people that have ran don't even make it past the primary, and that's a fact. To have this opportunity, not once but twice. Because we're supported by so much of not only the Asian community, but other leaders in the community of different races, of different cultures in my area. I think that we have a golden chance, a golden time, and we really need to take advantage of that because it might not come again.
Well, I'm going to share some good news with you. I don't even really know this. So 观众们，我们分享一些很好的喜讯。You're actually leading in this race. OK， 观众们，他现在在领先，在这个我们选区多难得，我们华人候选人 ，You will be the first Asian American to represent for District 26. You'll be the first state representative. That's one of our own. 这是千载难逢。We don't know when this will ever happen again. The fact that Daniel is ahead is very close, but he should be ahead. 我们要是再等2年、再等4年，我们不会再有个机会了。我们需要Daniel进到州议会，为我们的权益去发声，不要再有这种排华147法案出来，也不能再继续的让枪支、毒品泛滥在我们的学区，也不能再让我们的做生意的人没有这个电力，没有这个能够继续生存的方式。然后 Daniel 现在最后的说的就是 Daniel 的这个竞选的网站在我们的荧幕上 ，You could just is it scan? We can scan it.
Yeah, you can scan.
Okay, 你只要 scan 一下，就能他的 information 出来，小额捐款，或者是去上网站去支持他做他的这个 volunteer 去做这个是自愿去帮他去拜票。Because you're still doing block walking, we can still take volunteers.
Correct. Phone banking.
所以 Daniel 中文。英文、广东话都能讲，他的夫人西班牙话也能讲，所以我们欢迎所有不同、任何种族的朋友跟我们的邻居、our neighbors, our friends, all races to come out and support Daniel. He's one of us. He's young. He'll have a long time in the state to fight for our rights. OK， 我们不要再去永远选一样的人出来，要有新的面孔，有新的生力军来去维护我们的权益。Daniel, I really appreciate you. I know that it's been. I know you don't sleep. 他不睡觉的，因为我看到他到处，他一天跑行程跑4-5个行程，然后他光是走路拜票就是走，就很努力，而且在我们华人社区里面，大家都认识他，因为他一直都有在付出，他也是很杰出的律师，所以他进到 州议会绝对会用法律的观点能够维护我们的权益。The fact that you're a lawyer, you understand a lot of these, what the state is doing, right?
Yeah.
So as a lawyer, you could protect our.
Yeah, I've been fighting for our people for 17 years, and what I see every day is that there's a lot of laws that are written not for us, and when I fight against it, I see it hurting our people. Like, for example, the alien land law, right? That's one bad law, but there's also other hate crime type laws that are not being enforced against actors that are doing it against our people. And so one of the main things of why I decided to run was because I see how these bad laws affect us at the ground level, and how it ruins lives. And so I want to take all that experience that I have to Austin, all the knowledge I have as a lawyer and as a litigator, and not litigate, but advocate for everybody in our community to make sure that people don't take away our property, that make sure that we have enough police officers in our schools, because there's a shortage. We have one of the largest surpluses. When I say surplus, there's money in the state accounts, right? I believe it's somewhere between $22 and $33 billion of extra money that they didn't use. And that could have funded our schools. That could have given more police officers in schools. That could have been used to affect our infrastructure and our power grid. And our health care is really high too. It's higher than Georgia. That doesn't make any sense. All that money could be used for all those different things. Instead, we have people to tell us, hey, our county is raising our property taxes. Well, maybe they wouldn't have to raise our property taxes, or the schools wouldn't have to raise our property taxes, if the money that Joe Biden allocated and gave to the state of Texas, to our governor, was released to us. That's where the money came from. Our tax dollars are not being used properly. I want to make sure that they are used properly, and it goes back to the people.
作为我们州议员这个第26选区的候选人，我们李中原律师的目标是要推动立法，改变对我们华裔、亚裔社区不公平的政策，争取更多的资源来支持这个公共教育，然后保护我们的权益。另外很重要就是把我们已经交出去的税、纳税的税回到我们，用到我们的社区，把这个资源还给我们，让我们能够利用到这些资源，而不是卡在州政府手上。Once again, we really appreciate you, Daniel. 非常感谢你来上节目，也大家观众们一定要看他的网站，然后我们上去，就算是捐款，还是能够去帮他支持他，去这个做义工都可以。好，我们希望下次再见。Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Jim. 谢谢你。
晚安。